Okay, welcome to another playthrough. This time we are playing Into the Whirlpool. This is the American Civil War version of battle at Rose Wheatfield in Rose Woods area, part of the second day's battle. Into the Whirlpool, you can see there's the rule book here. Was designed by Herman Luttman and produced by Blue Panther Games. And we're playing scenario number 2, the Downeasters at the Wall, or Downeasters Wall. This is the particular scenario card. You can see Downeasters Wall. One of the nice things about this game is it comes with setup cards, where you can see it shows you exactly where units are to be set up, which I've already done. You can see there in the background, and then also how long the game is going to be and when it starts and so forth on there as well. So it's a nice little setup there with this as well. So this is an interesting game because it's a tactical level game, much different than many of the tactical games that are out there because most of them are regiment level. This one is actually at a kind of a company level, where we'll have companies and regiments and brigades being the highest level of organization, within here. So we're going to be controlling everything at the company level, which is going to make it a little bit interesting, a little bit more, realistic at a tactical level, for this. If you haven't seen the system, this is the second incarnation of the game. The original one was a little bit more miniature style or miniature-esque, where you actually were measuring and finding lines and using rulers and such to measure distances. This is a little different. We actually have not hexes, but we'll have these stars that are going to be our reference points for movement and fire and so forth. Oh, and then there. And then we have our individual units. Like I said, those are going to be companies or kind of roughly companies, groups of companies within there. They don't equate exactly one for that because that would actually be too big, depending upon the size of the regiment that we're dealing with. So we also have these companies. We also see the full formation. You can see here, this is the 59th Georgia. That's the full regiment here. And then across the whole line here, you can see here's the 11th Georgia, 8th and 11th, 8th here, 9th. Over here, you can see the whole brigade formation, as I said, is at the highest level with this. So, getting back to the scenario, Downeasters at the Wall. What's this about? Well, it's about this regiment here, the 17th, which unfortunately is upside down. 17th Maine Regiment, which held this wall along the Rose Wheatfield for the initial attack by the Confederates on the second day of Gettysburg, particularly by Thomas Anderson's or Tige Anderson's brigade attacking initially on here. They were part of the third brigade of I'm trying to think, third brigade, which was Detroit's brigade of the Third Corps. That's what I'm missing on there. And they held this line over here quite a while to hold off while reinforcements came up. So we will be recreating that particular scenario over here to see how we do as the 17th Maine and the rest of the Union against the Confederate attack, and see if they can push through or not. So, with the scenario, it's a short one. It's only going to be about 5 turns. It goes from 445, which we saw on the setup card here, all the way to 545 right here. So we've just got 5 turns that we're going to be playing. And the Confederates are going to be attacking. The Union is going to be somewhat defending, although there'll probably be some counterattacking over here as well. The Union has Detroit's brigade here, which is kind of aligned very loosely here, because you can see there's a big gap here, and he's actually in the middle of it here as well. As we have Burling's brigade, part of the 2nd Division it's actually the 3rd Brigade of the 2nd Division, standing in here reserve, holding out back here for the potentially holding the Stony Hill area there as well. We also have a couple batteries over here. I'll zoom in on both of these a little bit. I'll raise this up here in a second. We have 2 sections of Winslow's battery aligned across the Wheatfield Road up here, and we'll see that a little bit more here in a few minutes as well. And then for the Confederates, we have, like I said, Anderson's brigade aligned across Rose's Woods. They came down across Wiegert's Farm and aligned within the woods. Over here, you can kind of catch a glimpse of Houck's Ridge. That's this area over here. But this is primarily, Rose's Wood. The triangular field is just off camera to the south there as well. So the object of the scenario, as I said, 5 turns, is for the Confederates to try to take the wall. That's those hexes with the blue square cubes on them, as well as take the Stony Hill, which you can see up here now that I tip this up. Stony Hill is right up here. This is an elevated area here, which was actually farmland, and a bit of woods in here, what was part of the Wiegert farm as the Rose farm, but it was bisected by that by the stream going across there as well. And then we've got, of course, the Rose Wheatfield over here. That's the main focus of the battle and the game for this as well. So you can see a little bit more of that. You can see some of the artillery over here. If I slide you over just a tad, you can see the artillery over here, and we'll zoom in on it to show you here, because it's a little bit of a glare there from the pieces, not the board. That's another thing I'll mention about here as well. But you can see here's Wilson's batteries here protecting this road from a Confederate attack, because the Confederate attack was trying to cross this road and breach Cemetery Ridge, which was kind of all along this area here, and try to roll up the Union line as kind of the overall plan for the attack. We also see the Union is going to get some reinforcements over here, and excludes the glare there a little bit. I'll try to turn this away so you can see it better. Yeah, it's a little bit better. So we actually have some units from the 5th Corps coming in. We have both the 1st Brigade, which was Tilton, and the 2nd Brigade, which was Schweitzer, from the 1st Division, coming in to assist or support the 3rd Corps' position over here on the Rose Wheatfield and Rose Farm. So they'll be coming in on turn 1 as part of the Union advance, or Union activation, I should say, on there as well. Let me tip this back down so you can see where it comes in. There's black cubes over here, and there's a couple over on that side. That's just to signify the Confederates can't move into these 3 columns of locations, and the 2 columns over here they can't move into there as well. But they can go pretty much anywhere else. And the focus of the battle is going to be here in the center, mainly the wall and the Stony Hill up there as well. So that's going to be the battle. Like I said, 5 turns, going to be interesting. I'm going to provide some commentary on the 17th Maine as well, because they're a very interesting unit, because they participated in quite a bit of the campaigns in the East. Let me just zoom in on this guy again so you can see their position. So they participated in a lot. They were started getting organized in July of 1862 up in Maine, in what's called Cape Elizabeth. If people are familiar with Maine, that's just outside of Portland. Today it's quite a nice suburb of Maine. That's a suburb of Portland that's right on the Maine coast, and it's a very nice area. At the time of mustering in, it was actually a mixture of farms primarily, many farms out in that area. as well as people working the ocean, the sea. You had fishermen, lobstermen, and so forth in that general area there as well, but primarily farms up there. And the 17th was mustered in there about a month after they were organized. That was August of 1862, at which point they had their full complement of companies, and they began more basic training, what we'd consider today basic training. But then they shipped out pretty quickly. At the end of August, they were embarked on trains, headed from Portland to Boston, and then Boston to New York, New Jersey, and then New Jersey down to Maryland, to Philadelphia, and then Maryland, particularly Baltimore, where they arrived early September range. And they were able to eventually get to Washington, and they were initially put into the defense of Washington in the forts there at Washington, which many units went through there as kind of their first stop before they were actually brigaded and moved into particular combat roles or other roles within the Army. So after they were there in the D.C. area, Washington D.C. area, they were eventually brigaded in October with the 3rd Corps, 1st Division. At the time, that was Birney was commanding, and the brigade commander at the time was Barry, General Barry, who was their initial brigade commander in October of 1862. And they primarily stayed right around there, but if you know anything about your Civil War history and the chronology of that, that was right after the Battle of Antietam, and they basically were filling in the ranks of the units that were lost as part of the Antietam campaign, and to fill out the 3rd Corps' depletions because of that campaign. They wouldn't have long to wait before they got into a campaign, because they would start marching shortly thereafter in November, heading south towards Falmouth, Virginia, and ultimately down to Fredericksburg in early December as part of the 3rd Corps, which at that point was now, it was still a corps, but it was also reorganized into the Grand Division scheme that Burnside had put together there as well. So that's how they came to be. That's how they were in there. I'll talk more as we go through each turn. I'll give you a little bit more details. We'll talk about the Fredericksburg campaign in the next video. But we're going to kind of follow them. They're kind of interesting. From my perspective, it kind of hits close to home because I'm geographically located in this general area and have a lot of Maine history in my blood as well as in my head there as well. So just going to follow them along, put in some different stories that I found. There's some great history on them, both that are available commercially and available through other means, college, universities, and other assorted locations there as well. That brings back particularly their stand here at the Wall, but also their other battles, as I said, from Fredericksburg all the way till the end of the war, in which they participated in. So we will fight with them, and we will also see their history with them as well. A little bit going back to what was I going to say here? Back to the game. I was going to mention the fact that this is a tactical level game that's a little bit different than other games like Great Battles of the American Civil War or Blind Swords or other ones that are like this, where we're at the company level. So things are going to be a little bit tighter in terms of how we move and what we move with everything. And I'll try to give you a feel of that by doing some actual playthroughs of the turns. The turns generally go fairly quick. You got to think about a few things because it is so things are so tightly knit. You've got to keep your regiments in line. You can't have them broken out like this. They can't just be running all over the place. So you've got to be careful in terms of how your regiments actually go into battle, as well as how the reinforcements stream in here as well, because that can cause great confusion with your troops, and you'll find you can't be able to maneuver them the way you want to in a critical situation. So I'll kind of highlight that as well as the whole movement combat and assaulting close combat type of effects on the air as well. I find this is a really exciting game, particularly at the tactical level, because it gives you that feel of that lower level. I always looking for that, more tactical level. And with the American Civil War, it's tough getting beyond the regiment level, because then you get more and more counters involved. This kind of feels right. And I know there's some others that are coming out, not of the American Civil War, but other things of Napoleonic times and things like that are starting to get into this kind of that lower level and kind of feeling their way in to see what's going to work. So I'm going to present this to you, and hopefully you enjoy. We'll go turn by turn like you see with my usual videos, and we'll play through all 5 turns and see how it goes. So I hope you enjoy this. If you do, please subscribe. There'll be a playlist for this, so click on that, and you'll be able to get all the videos if you're coming in later. Also, too, please like us, and please leave a comment. Let me know if I'm doing something right, wrong. Let me know if this is interesting for you, if you're interested in the game, or just anything regarding this battle or the American Civil War is always appreciated. So I thank you for watching, and stay tuned for turn 1.